What's going on, Mother Truckers? Welcome to Mother Trucker. We got a big one. I wanted Bob on the show right away. I appreciate you for being on. Bob, founder of the funding booth, you know, does a lot of financing and loans, and I appreciate you for taking some time out of your time today, brother.
You bet, Alex. Appreciate you having me on, man. I know it's important what we're about to discuss, so want to make
Yeah,
sure.
so I get an email from a truck driver. He's a mother trucker, man, and he's in Atlanta. I think he's at the Petro, and he's just pissed. He's working off the spot market, and he's saying he's gonna just leave his dang truck right in the fuel aisle, like he's just ready to hang the keys. And I'm trying to email him back and trying to give him some options here. Clearly, he's upset, he's pissed, but I thought it's important to make this video today because there are so many owner operators in America that are in a very similar situation that might be running the spot market and not doing so well. And here's a disclaimer for everyone out there: if you are thinking about getting your own truck right now and just running the spot market, I myself do not recommend that for people. I don't recommend people to go out and try to get a lease and go out and try to make this work. Learn the business, learn the craft. But in this market, being a company driver possibly be better. First thing, if you own your truck, that is my advice to you. Okay, is park your truck and be a company driver for a little bit. You just got to swallow the ego, and that might potentially be what you need to do if you are not able to make it right now. Now, on the financing part, I don't have those answers. So that's why we have on Bob today to help with that. Here was the question that came up that made me want to, reach out to you right away, Bob. He goes, "Hey, Mother Trucker, I'm pissed. I'm done. I've been trucking for 7 years. I bought a 2019 Peterbilt 389 for 250,000. I still owe over $100,000 on this, and I still owe another 2.5, 3.5 years left. And he owes Bob $5,100 a month is his note alone, and because he's running the spot market, he's not making his payments." And so he's just pissed. He's done with the regulations. He's done with everything trucking, and he says he just wants to drop his keys off and keep the motor going. He doesn't care, right at the fuel aisle, and just walk away from trucking. Um, what should he do? And let's talk to all the truckers in America right now as well. What steps or options should they have as well if they are in the financing uh, uh, basically scenario where they're not able to make their payments because of various reasons? They're running the spot market or what have you. So, what are your thoughts specifically for this man and for other Americans out there, owner operators that are struggling right now as owner operator?
Man, yeah, my first thought is $5,100 is a big nut to crack each month,
Right.
especially in the market right now. So,
But
um,
remember this though, 2019, he was killing it.
right, yeah, that's a different animal, right? But there's a couple different options you've got, right? From the finance perspective, if it's financed, and if he's $5,100 a month, not able to make his payments, number one, the best thing you can do is get in touch with the bank or the lending source that you have, and let them know the situation you're in. Let them know what's going on before it's too late. Right. You don't want to start missing payments and missing collection phone calls, and then you know wait until they come knocking on your door to to try to work with them. It's going to be too late. So the first thing is called a bank modification or a loan modification, right?
Okay.
Where basically, not everybody is going to be able to get this. Not every bank is going to be able to offer this. There has to be a justification and a reason why it has to be done. You've got to be able to show them, number one, why you can't make your payments and you're not able to make things work right now. And number two, what you're going to do to turn things around, and what's a reasonable amount of money that you're comfortable with each month. Um, it's almost like you're kind of renegotiating to an extent, right? But you have to understand, the ball's not in your court. The ball's in the bank's court. They own, the title to the truck until it's paid off, and you're obligated to make those payments. So you definitely want to play by the rules and do everything you can to be a responsible owner in that sense. If you're trying to get a modification for the loan, but that's definitely
So be honest and I don't want to use the word beg, but you need to tell them the truth that you are struggling, and if not, then you are dropping this off at the fuel aisle and leaving the keys there.
Right, and that kind of brings me to a second part, right, Alex, where obviously a bank or a loan modification, it's not that's not a refinance. I don't want to get it mixed up, right? A loan modification is simply you going back to your lender and maybe seeing if they can do something for, like, let's say the next 3 months, where maybe they'll cut your payment in half, or take 25% off the top. I don't know. I'm just
Mm.
using examples of different things that I've seen in the past. I can't say that everybody is the same, because they're not. Everybody's different, right? There may be some lenders that say, yeah, tough luck. The market's good. We're going to sell the truck if that's the case, right? But brings to the next point is a refi, right? Refining that truck is a possibility. It's a 2019 in this market. I'm sure that's still worth a good chunk of change, depending on the mileage, but still, it's a nice truck. It's not that old. You said he owes about 100 grand on it. A payment on that over 60 months. I could just take a quick look, but and just to put it in perspective, when you're refining right now, you're not necessarily gonna get a better rate than you may have gotten a year ago, 2 years ago. Rates have gone up. So with refining, in some cases you will get a better rate only because of the situation you were in the beginning. If you were like a startup, now obviously there's better rates for you if you got 2 years in business. But if you've been in the business a while, you have a $250,000 truck, you're paying $5,100 a month, and now you owe about 100 grand on it. That note could probably be somewhere around 2 grand a month. Yeah.
Really? How's that work out? Those numbers?
Well, you're just going to restart. You're going to stretch the payment out again, right? So we may be able to get like 5 years because it's a 2019 model. But even if we went 48 months, which is stretching it out 4 years,
Right.
you're looking at still having a $2,500 a month payment. So that's half of what you're paying now, and it's in a time where you're ready to walk away from the truck anyways. So does that make a difference? I don't know. Some people, it makes the whole heck of a lot of difference. To
Right,
others,
right. So that saving that extra, potentially $2,500 might be at that right needle to just keep you in business long enough until things get better again.
right?
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
talking to this mother trucker, man, do not lose hope. If you're watching this, do not leave your truck at the fuel aisle and walk away. In your situation, and that's not everyone's situation, it looks like a refinance deal might work out, right? Now, when does a refinance deal not make sense for a truck driver that is about to basically give up his truck?
Right. So one time it doesn't make sense is if you owe more on the truck than what it's actually worth, because not many people out there want to finance more than what anything is worth nowadays, right? They want to have equity in it, or at least be able to finance it for what it's actually worth. Meaning some loans or lease contracts may not allow for early payoff options. So if you got a 60-month term and it's $100 a month, or I'm sorry, $1,000 a month, it's going to cost you 60 grand whether you pay it off month 30 or month 60.
Got you. So that makes a lot of sense. So right now, if the market, hey, you owe more than the truck's worth, I apologize. I feel bad for you for that, but refinancing might not be an option. Now,
Sorry to cut you off, Alex, but one way it could be a potential option, which doesn't really, it's like people probably say, yeah, what's this guy talking about? We don't have money if we can't make our bills. So I get that.
right.
But if you had like additional collateral that was free and clear, or additional cash, and when I say collateral, I mean like other vehicles, heavy equipment, things like that, not like a piece of jewelry or something like that. It has to be like something with a title. But there's ways where we may be able to use that equity or that cash to get you out of that high note into something more reasonable. Just understand you may have to come out of pocket some to do that.
Hey, giving people options just so that they go, wait a minute, what is that? And it's helpful.
Right.
This is all helpful advice. This is, you have to know that these truck drivers are struggling already, Bob, right? And so they're thinking, when you're struggling and you have high anxiety, you feel like you have no options.
Right.
And so I think, hey, that's great. Okay, I myself as Alex go to the bank, say, hey, I can't make these payments. Can you help me out? You know, a bank, you know, a loan modification. Can you get my payments down so I can make these payments? You know, that's an option. If they say no or what have you, you know, if you uh, uh, paid off a good lump sum of the truck and you know you got some what we call equity in it, right? Then at the end of the day, hey, a refinance might get you through it. Now if both options of that doesn't make sense for you, what's the third option that could make sense?
Yeah, the next best option, in our opinion, is to kind of clean your hands with the situation, right? Make sure you're doing it the right way and sell your truck, right?
Mm. Now
There.
can I just sell my truck, like if I owe on my truck and I don't have the title, is that something that I could just put on Facebook Market and sell it, or
So you can control the sale of the truck, but your seller's never going to get the title or be able to register the truck or do anything with it until the
right?
bank you're financing through has been paid in full. So if you owe 50,000 bucks on the truck, you need to sell it for at least 50 grand, or else that bank isn't going to release the title. If you wanted to sell it for 30 to get the title release, you're going to have to pay the bank 20 grand, you know?
You're gonna
So
have to take out a loan or do something.
you kind of lose money on the deal, right?
Very.
But I mean, that's one way to get it, done. And then to that point, if you owe 50 and the truck you sell it for 70, the bank's going to get the 50, and obviously the 20 grand goes back in your pocket. Um,
Got you.
so
Makes-
yeah, it's important to understand that if you're selling a truck and you have a loan on it, the bank's in the driver's seat. You have to get that buyout letter, right? Ask them for a buyout letter. It's going to last for probably anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks. Usually, doesn't go more than that. And it's going to have the amount of money you owe on the truck. Sometimes your buyout letter is going to have a different payout amount than you think you owe on it, and that could be related to the type of contract that you're in.
mm,
So before you go ahead and put your truck out there and negotiate and make a sale on it, make sure you get that buyout letter so you know what you need to sell it for. So that way you come out on top. And it's important to do that because you want to make sure you're leaving that relationship on a high note, with that lender, because you don't want to burn the bridge and not be able to go back to them, or not be able to go back to another lender of a similar capacity, because now you have something bad on your credit report.
no,
That's
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And at the last one, if the bank just will not work with you at all, do you tell them just to pick up the dang truck at the Petro in the fuel aisle? I mean, does it matter?
yeah, it matters. If at the end of the day you can't sell it, you can't make the payments, and you've come to the end of the road, and you just want to turn the truck in, it's a lot
Hmm.
better to do a voluntary repossession than it is an involuntary repossession, right? Um,
Mm,
Whereas a voluntary repossession is, it's kind of like you're either taking the truck to a place that the bank is asking you to take it to, that's local to you or local to them or whatever the case may be, and you're voluntarily giving up the truck,
right.
or you're making the bank come and chase you and find you, and they got to hide in the bushes for 5 hours before they can jump in the truck and do something about it.
Yeah.
So it just like anything else, if you look at those two scenarios, and you were in the bank's hands, who would you want to do business with in the future?
Hey, no, I mean, I think this is all great, and I think, you know, if you're watching this out there, um, hey, man, you have an option. I know right now is a very tough time, and right now you're feeling a lot of things in your head, but just don't drop off your keys. You might have an opportunity to, you know, cut your payments down, and you have these options. And for all the other mother truckers out there, you know, hopefully this information it can help you, because we just want to give you information, to give you options. You know, knowledge is always power on this, and sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So I appreciate you for being on the show, Bob. Is there anything that you would like to leave people with?
No, just I hope everybody keeps working hard, and just we know the times are hard right now, right, Alex?
Yeah,
Rates are down. Truck prices have come down a little, but they're not great. Don't rush it. Don't rush anything. When you rush things, that's when you end up getting yourself into a situation that you may not want to be in. And especially from a finance perspective, if you're going to finance a truck, the last thing you want to do is rush into it, because a lot of the times it's not as easy to undo it, as it is to get into it. So, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everybody. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man. No, thank you so much, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.